Along with players like Bill Walton, Derrick Rose, and Brandon Roy, Grant Hill is at the top of the what-if player list all time. What if Grant Hill was never injured? How good would he be in the NBA today? Well, in this video, I'm going to go back to the 1996-1997 season, where this was maybe Grant Hill's peak, and discuss exactly what made him such a special player and how he might translate into today's NBA. A variety of statistics from that season paint Grant Hill as one of the best players in the league. Most notably are Basketball Reference's box plus-minus stat, which ranked him as second in the league behind Michael Jordan, and Jacob Goldstein's player impact plus-minus, having him third behind Michael Jordan and Karl Malone. Some have described Grant Hill's game as a proto-LeBron type, somebody who's big and strong at the forward position, who happily brings the ball up the court and runs the offense. This really stands out when you watch Grant Hill on the fast break. He's able to take it down the entire way of the court himself and finish. He's able to dunk ferociously over opposing defenders, or he can catch and receive on the break and finish with ease. I would like to point out that this is a 1-on-4 fast break that Grant Hill finishes, one of those four defenders being four-time Defensive Player of the Year Dikembe Mutombo. In the half court, Hill combined that ferocity with an impressive handle and first step that allowed him to get by most defenders. Here again he is, challenging Dikembe Mutombo at the rim and throwing it down on him. Here he is against Pippen, where he's able to get the angle on him and go straight for the rim for another posterizing dunk, a play that I saw from him maybe about once a game. He weaponized the seemingly simple hesitation dribble to allow himself to get open layups with semi-consistency, where he could finish with either hand. When met with more adversity, he was able to dip into his Jordan-esque bag of tricks to finish at the rim. The combination of his skill set and fearlessness led to a lot of free throws. He had no problem charging into the teeth of the defense, sometimes being knocked down hard by the opposing players. Of the top 25 scorers that season, Grant Hill was third in free throw rate. When not making use of his dynamic driving ability, Grant Hill actually relied on a mid-range jumper quite a bit. You'll see that he actually actively avoided shooting threes, and because of that, his game really consisted of getting to the line, shooting these mid-range jumpers, and taking it straight to the hole. Notice how much Pippen respects Hill's ability to drive while also ignoring his three-point shot here. Hill backs himself up behind the three-point line to give himself some momentum, and Pippen doesn't move from the corner of the free throw line. In fact, he doesn't move from that position until Hill actually gets to his shot to shoot the mid-range jumper, and that's when Pippen finally contests. Just like on the previous drives, Hill had a solid collection of dribbling moves that he could go to get himself an open enough shot. He had a knack for finishing these shots even when he was heavily contested. Here, he draws the foul and finishes it with an and one. Similar to modern Kawhi, when Hill wasn't isolating, he used the pick and roll to find himself some space to fire off that mid-range shot. He definitely got a little trigger happy at times, like on this possession, where he fires off a long two-pointer mere seconds after crossing half court. Again, he settles for the long two without passing it and early in the shot clock. Here's an example of Hill actively avoiding the open three. In my sampling, this sort of avoidance happened about once a game. Aside from his dynamic drives, Hill's passing is actually the main aspect of his game that stood out to me the most. He was an extremely willing passer who, just like LeBron now, would drive and wait for more defensive attention before kicking it out for an open three. Watch how he floats into the air until the corner defender cuts in enough that he knows he can get his teammate an open three-point attempt. Personally, I appreciate a passer that's able to get an open layup or dunk for his teammates, and Hill, both with his powerful driving and his tremendous vision, did just that both in the pick and roll and in isolation. Hill's favorite recipient, Otis Thorpe, always knew exactly when to cut and to be in the right place for a dump-off or a last-minute pass. I'm including this play here just because of Shaq's absolutely disrespectful rejection at the end here. Just wait for it. My goodness. Unfortunately for Shaq, though, in his overweight and maybe slightly injured state, Hill took full advantage of him and other slow-footed centers. Hill was also excellent at lasering in these passes to rolling big men. The fear of his mid-range jumper often froze the defense when he would leave his feet to make the pass. On defense, Hill had the tools to be a tremendous defender. He was able to make athletic plays like this steal here, where he's almost playing like a free safety in the open court. Just like on offense, he wasn't afraid of taking contact, like drawing a charge here, and in this next play, throwing himself both in front of the driver on the baseline and jumping in front of the cunning player immediately. He had the length and the agility to go from a double team here to a really solid contest on the jump shot. He had solid and quick feet, which allowed him to stay in front of dribbling players pretty easily, even in the full court here with Pippen. However, that's the end of the nice things I have to say about Hill on defense. It didn't happen often, but he would get blown by like this once in a while. More concerning to me, though, was his disinterest in just contesting open jump shooters. In this collection of shots coming up here, notice how he doesn't get a hand up at all as the opposing player is shooting. I know that the quality isn't great on all of these videos, but look at how Hill is already turning towards the basket before Pippen's even fired off his shot. I know it looks identical, but this is actually a different shot from the same game that Hill just ignored. Also, is Hill giving Jordan a little tummy tap on this play? You be the judge. Beyond contests, Hill would often die on screens like this particular one leading to a foul. Sometimes he would lose track of his man. Here, I'm sure he's instructed to double team Shaq as soon as he gets the ball, but he leaves his man wide open under the basket to get fouled again. To me, this is the most baffling defensive play I've seen in a long time. While guarding Eddie Jones, a 39% three-point shooter, he just stops in the paint while Jones is jogging across to the corner three. Jones stops and gets a wide open shot. All in all, in just his third year in the NBA, Grant Hill showed flashes of all-time offensive ability. Because of his relentless and measured driving ability, Hill could produce a solid offense without another star next to him. His combination of scoring and passing at the point forward position allows him to run the offense as efficiently as he does. However, I don't think he impacted the game on defense that much. Despite having solid and athletic feet, he really didn't make that many game-changing plays. Besides that, I'm not really sure how well he fits next to other superstars, both because of his lack of a three-point shot and because of his ball-dominant offensive nature. If I were to compare Hill to a modern-day player, I'd say he's like a bigger, less athletic Westbrook with a better shot selection. For more NBA content, head over to overtimeheroics.net for daily articles.